Let's see. Test, test, test. Okay, audio looks good. I saw music playing a couple of seconds ago. Right, no dropped frames. So it should be good. Hopefully. Oh, right. Back to this. Wait, what happened here? Menu. I think I have it reset to the older version, so that's why it's showing so many changes. So I made all the comments. Show history. Oh, in history, okay, so this set as baseline, so current version. Oh yeah, I commented this out. I guess that was never committed. Right. Not even sure where to start. What do I do first? There are a couple of things I want to do. And this window is getting very busy. Well, for one, I have a couple of tasks. Get button options. Okay, so this is done. Content. Okay. So these are actually done. The only task that it's actually isn't done, well, from my previous streams, is implementing user context, which is, yeah. Let's see how it's being used now. Where is it? User context. User context. Being referenced, it's not referenced all that much. Oh, this user context. Okay, let's find the global variable that's still lurking somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's here. Maybe it's not. Okay, this user context is used on button click. Well, I guess it's used in both. Oh, both message and button. We handle user message. User context is used here. Yeah. Oh, this class, this at least this file or pack. No, it's not package. It's what's the Python? Ooh. Channel info. That's what I'm looking for. Right. Not the package. It's there's another name. Module. Yeah. So in this module, that Python terminology. Yeah, I'm ranting about things the way they are more and more. Yeah, I guess you need to name it somehow. I'm just struggling to remember it. So this module, yeah, is looking quite simple, which is nice. So user context is a dictionary, so yeah, that's the issue. Don't really want it to be database user. I think this already returns a user. It returns you, which is user, which is a data class. So I guess we can make a new data class. Name it data class. And class user context. Right. So first of all, it has user. User itself, which is of type user, which comes from here, the same module. Well, it's both a module and the package. I'm pretty sure this file, even though it says classes, it's actually init.py. Yeah. Like, it's not a dunder method, it's a dunder file. Just fine, I guess. So user context has user. Okay, let's do that first. So let's initiate yes last message time. Time returns an integer, I think. Floating point number. So it's a float. What type is it? Alright, let's look at the documentation instead of guessing. Don't want to hide my chat. Where is it? Built-in types. Is there a float? Pretty sure there is. Built-in types. Dictionary set. Lists, tuples, functions, other types. Library reference. Built-in functions, built-in types. Oh, there's a float, yep. Take a look at float. Floating point number, blah blah blah. Okay, well. So I guess the time will be float. Time float. What else does it have? And the user is a global thing that's referenced where? Nowhere else. Amazing. Is it actually not referenced anywhere except here? Yeah, I guess it. Okay, let's delete it. I think deleting it won't change anything. Yeah, deleting this one does change stuff. Oh, it's a users, it's a dictionary of users. Okay, it's not a user. It's a list of current users. Oh, dictionary. Guess that's fine. Discord user ID. And user ID, last message. Wait, isn't this a dictionary? Oh, yeah, it thinks, yeah, okay, it is a dictionary. Based on user ID, which I get here, okay. So now it will be an instance of data class. So last message, which is time, will be time. Because it has time. Right, let's start with the beginning where it gets initiated. So instead of this, we have equals user context. Should added a it automatically added the import. User context. Right, user context is equal db user is 1. One of the initial parameters and the other one should be float, which will be time. Right, so this is no longer needed. Okay, as well as this. Get db user from then. Okay, it doesn't really matter. So, user found in session list. Okay. So user context is used this way here. Okay, handle user messenger. Let's call user message. Here, context is extracted from get user data. Oh yeah, now it returns user context. Okay. I slept for 5 hours today, so it's a little bit challenging. Like, I'm not as sharp as yesterday, that's for sure. I'm so glad that I've done all the complicated stuff yesterday. Well, with buttons and all the inheritance and stuff, with initialization and so on, all the mapping. Well, I guess it's not all that complicated, but it was a bit of a chore to figure out a way to achieve everything I want. It wasn't as straightforward as I hoped. I guess that's... I have a tendency to underestimate the complexity of stuff. Well, I guess it's not that I underestimate complexity, is that along the way I figure out ways to improve it, but by improving it, it usually means complicating it at the same time. Right. User context. This shouldn't be too difficult because it doesn't do anything special. It just stores relevant data to be accessed later on. User context. So this is where I create it, and what I'm pretty sure I assign stuff to it. Okay, get user data is on button. Okay, so this user context current menu is, where do I assign current menu? Imagine here. Where is it? User data. I think I just get called, yeah. So user context. Last message. Context. Last message is something else. Yeah, so this is the last message. And last message gets assigned here. So I have time. Now I'll have last message. The last message is of type Hikari message. I think that's right. What choices does it give? It's called Hikari. So return type is message, which is of type Hikari messages. Oh, it's in package Hikari messages. Oh, not Hikari message, messages. Message. Dot message. There is no such thing. Why, how come? Current messages. I didn't make a typo. Messages. Well, it's definitely here. Yeah, messages. And now suddenly it is here. I guess maybe it didn't... Oh, it didn't have to import anything. Imports Hikari. Okay. I guess that's fine. Right. Our messages, message, that's the type. So last message. Let's get back. And the default value will be none. And it gets assigned here. Last message. Last message. Set user context. Last message. Is not null. Done. Then it awaits user context, last message. Last message, edit. Pause edit on it. Oh. Components, it extracts something from the last message as well. Get buttons. Current menu. So that's something I still need to sort out. Current menu. Well, I guess it gets assigned when it handles the message. Yeah, this is the menu. So user context, last message. Where do I actually save the menu? I guess it's done here somewhere. Current menu. Yeah, so user context, current menu. Current menu is of type menu, I guess. Yeah, call generic menu, show and handle message. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter in the end. It will map to the object that's actually there. It's not like in strictly typed languages where if you call, well, if you use an object, I'm not even sure if that's actually correct, if that would be an issue. Right, well, you would use interfaces in strictly typed languages to accomplish this, to have like a common thing to be used in definitions like this. So current menu is of type menu, and it's menu, I think. Menu. Yeah, so this is my menu. Class menu. Not package. The other one. Component. No. Is it component? No, it's not component. Damn, memory goes to shit if you don't sleep properly. Package and... Why am I struggling with the name so much? Package is something ingrained into my head because you operate in packages, with packages in object-oriented, like in strictly typed object-oriented languages. And here, Python module, damn it. It's just, I won't remember. Like module, it's It's not memorable. I'm sorry. Like, it just doesn't register as a keyword in my brain. Module. Write it down somewhere. Maybe that will help me remember. Module equals file in Python language and Python terminology. Okay. Because it's good to call things appropriate names. So I hate that I don't remember it. I find it annoying that I don't remember it, but I should remember it. Right, where was I? Context, it's created, and current menu. It should be none by default. Otherwise it will complain. Right, user message. And it returns the menu itself. Okay, user context dot. Actually, I can define its type. User context. So it will know that it has all the current menu, all the things you need. Current menu. And this will assign a new menu based on current menu. I return current context, user context, current menu. It's like it's a lot of I guess it doesn't really matter. Might as well not return anything since it's set in user context, which provide when you call the method. Yeah, would it make it any simpler? It doesn't really make any difference. Might as well leave it at as is. Interaction, custom ID. Okay, I'm getting rid of handle button 1, so this is no longer a thing. Done prototyping buttons. Okay, these are kind of needed. Right. So current menu. Users. Users is just a dictionary of currently known users that have interacted with the bot recently. Well, the users that it remembers. Right, get new user, generate payment ID. So these are. I'm not sure. Yeah. Like these functions, the database functions, they could be extracted into a different module, maybe. Doesn't have to be in the main function. Get start menu, get user data, like these are very closely related to the main loop of the application, of the bot. And these are like a little bit more distant, like more specific. Like generate payment ID, that's get new user, get user from the database. Well, maybe I should get, well, do I care enough? Well, the module itself got simplified quite a bit, so I'm quite happy with where it is. Don't wanna, well, I don't really, not sure if it's worth the effort to make it any better, because it's pretty good as it is. Still user message, yeah, let's not assign it to any type. Let's just call it. Don't return anything. Same here. This doesn't return current menu, just is done, and it's done. And now, when it complains that it doesn't show menu, we'll just call the context current menu. Same here, user context current menu. Makes it a little bit more clear what I'm operating on. Same here. Context, current menu. Right. Anything else? Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Current menu, last message. So these should be fine to be deleted. Messages, this is also should be deleted. These values, I'm not really sure about though. All those. I think they should be used anywhere. Okay, let's just remove them. Oh yeah, the interval might be used somewhere. Current menu. The context, last message. Get buttons, user context. It was current menu. Current menu. Get buttons. Okay, so what's wrong with this? User context. Oh, so if current menu, user context, current menu is done. So it initiates a new menu. A start menu is the current menu in that case. Okay. What else can I remove? ConfigBot ID. Is it actually used anywhere? Does it take Discord? So Singleton manages that. So this is no longer needed as well. User. Is it actually used anywhere? I don't think it is. Oh, it was. User context. User. User. Start menu. Sure, I used user quite a few times. So for the start menu, I actually need user all that much. Discord in users. So this is time. So it finds the user context. Maybe I don't really pass along user all that much. Get user data. So user comes from the interaction in this case. This is from the message. Row, get buttons, all of the good stuff. I guess user gets How does it get transferred from one menu to another? Handle input. Oh, I guess the menu itself does all of that. Because by default it passes along to any function that it maps to. Any menu selection. Basically anything. Maps to a method. And when it gets called, I think it gets passed along the user. So yeah, I guess every menu has a user. So all handler. Oh yeah, so this is common. One thing to have. Okay. Thing all the tasks. Okay, so all the tasks are done. The user context is now present and working. See if these are actually used. Doesn't look like it. Users. So this is the list. Well, dictionary. One thing I want to change in the handling of this dictionary of users, I want it to be looked through. Okay. Instead of this, user context. Right. So it creates a new one if it doesn't find one. Okay. C4 user in others. If yeah, we pretty much want to do this. Okay, this user is of type. Let's call it U. Reassign it. User of type user equals U. So now time created. Oh, it's use not user, user contexts. Contexts. User context. This should be renamed to user context. Oh. It should, maybe it shouldn't. Well, because, well, it does save list of user contexts, not users themselves. Right. So, for you, what I want to actually do is remove it. If it's old enough, I want to remove it. So we'll go through the list and compare if user context time so time plus. So let's see what this actually means. So user time plus an hour is more than time, so this will check if it's not expired. So let's change to less. So if then oh, actually it won't work. You can't operate on an array you're iterating over. I guess I need a new array. So create dated users list is new dictionary. Okay. Get user context, user ID, discard ID. Yeah, ID is from the database. Discard ID, and we assign user context. Right. So after doing this check, we assign it to users list. Into the users list. Okay, so well, obviously this is a different thing from get user data. So let's make a new method. Date users list. And does it actually need anything? I don't think it needs any parameters. It returns dictionary. Okay. Damn it. Need to go to the toilet. Should have gone before the stream. Oh, whatever. I'll be back in 10 minutes or so. In the meantime, let's watch some of my YouTube videos. Let's get a view going. Channel videos. I'm gonna watch some old content. 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Castle fight. So where we get wiped on a castle. Other videos are quite short. Yeah, this, I guess. And the quality sucks. Yeah, this is a massive fight. Okay. Yeah, this looks quite cool. Oh, this was a very fun fight. Okay, be right back. Be back in 10 minutes. Okay, back. Guess it took me longer than 10 minutes, judging by the by the video. Not too long, not much longer, I hope. Right. Back to where I was. Update users list. So yeah, this whole thing could be extracted out. So global. And here. Users will be coming from update users list. I should name it updated users list. So it checks. Well, I guess since I do this check before, I don't really need to do that. So if user is in this, return the user, otherwise get a user, create its context, create context for it. Well, I guess the menu can assign a start menu as well. So this won't have to check. Is there another situation where we wouldn't have a current menu? Don't think so. Because each message, well, each menu handling message, the result is another menu, or the same menu. But it still results in a menu, so I'm pretty sure I don't need... I think I've done it for this way. Intending to use this feature like this. So when I want to, to make like cancel button globally very simple to implement, which just deletes the current menu. And then automatically, if you don't have any menu assigned to you, to your user, you get the start menu. But since I'm implementing it in a different way, I'm pretty sure this is unnecessary. Let's see, get user data, where was it? Button. Update list, yeah, so here I can already assign get start menu. Set user context, I can move current menu up, it's default value. So it will be created using the constructor time get start menu. And the user DB user. So I guess it is DB user. Okay. So that means this always has a. It doesn't need a start menu. It always has a start menu assigned when it's created. And since this is just one function at this point, I guess we can remove this method at all. So instead of having menu, yeah, even passing along text is not, oh, it is used. The context, let's see. Current menu is, oh, so a user context gets assigned a new Guess it will be done the same way. Right, user context, current menu. What does it handle input? Handle input. Handle input and the text in this case. Event ID. When it's a button. Oh, interaction ID. The button ID. So this can be removed. No longer needed. C. Handle input and yeah, so current menu gets updated this way. Okay. And this is fine. Right, user context, current menu. Message. Content. It actually gets passed along. Yeah. Looks good. Okay, I think I'm done like all of this, like there's nothing much I can nothing else that's really on the nose at the moment. Import menu. It's not never used. Let's remove it, see what happens. I guess it was never used. Oh, this is the type here. Okay. So directly I don't have a menu here anymore, which is fine. Yeah. So pretty much got rid of all the constants, all the dictionaries. Well, users it stays, but I guess I could move it to the singleton. Maybe I should. Then I could move all of these, the singleton as well. Ah. An interesting thought. As well as these, get user data. That's what I should do. Yeah, that's probably the right choice. Okay, let's try doing that. Generate payment ID, all of these will be disappeared, put into a singleton. Right. It will be responsible not only for managing configurations, also managing users. This needs to be this. Alright, generate payment ID. So now it takes self as first argument. 1. Date time needs to be imported. Okay, this method is fine. Get new user, self. Anything else? Everything else. Oh, generate payment ID is now accessed like this. Self payment ID. It also gets updated the same way. And get new, so self get new user is not imported here from new bot. Nope. User classes, yeah, This is my user. Classes. Right. Get start menu. Self. Menu. It. Don't accept self. Context. Self. It users list. Yeah. Shelf. This self again. I guess methods become very self-centered. Or functions. These are functions. Methods are in other programming languages. These, Python has functions. Well, I guess they could, well, maybe method refers to the function that's inside the class. So, by nature of me moving them from the global scope, like the main module, to a class, I convert them from functions to methods, which is, okay, so sing what holds the call get user data, and this sing user data. Right. So all of this is not necessary. This is not necessary anymore. Nice. So okay. Now this looks like a proper application. It goes from 1,000-line main module to 50 lines. Yeah. On message, yeah, it just has the main things. What it does on message. I guess the checking could be extracted, but it's good enough. Singleton looking healthy, looking kind of thick, but I think that's fine. Yeah, should be good. Right, let's test if it actually works. Because making changes, a lot of changes, moving code around is fine as long as it works. End. That's the real test, and immediately crashes. Okay. Cannot. Oh, I'm running? No, I'm not running. Okay. From. Cannot import users from classes. Because it has singleton imported? No. Current menu. Let's see where it shows. Language menu. I guess when language menu gets initialized. Okay, let's look at the so singleton imports a helper, which imports generic classifier, then imports menu. Menu imports all of these menus. And which one of them? Language imports user and custom button. That's for some reason is wrong. Well, the singleton has the same imports, but circular imports? Classes. So here, time data class, so these are not the issue. Menu, maybe this. Yeah, it imports all of these. Okay, I wasn't running the wrong class, wrong module by accident. So singleton is messed up now. Cannot import user from proprietary partially initialized module classes. So classes doesn't get initialized till the end because helper uses that, which is can I just move it to the end? Will this save anything? Oh, it uses singleton. So they use each other. Right, so singleton uses helper to perform a couple of functions. Yes, the right way to do this is to pass the instance itself or extract the data it needs. Tables. So connect to the database and date configuration. And this is old stuff. I think this should affect it. Port menu. So singleton doesn't get initialized because it imports too many things. Yeah, I guess I didn't take that into account at all. What's the hierarchy of imports? I just want to use singleton everywhere. So let's see, menu is used here. Let's not import menu at all. Ignore that it's a thing. Where is it? Oh, so this is a static method. It's a kinda neat. Okay, let's extract this to the back to where it was. Self. And I think singleton relies on it as well. Oh, it doesn't? Wait. Could rely on it. user list. Oh, I guess it's actually called from new bot. Their context. Get user data. See if this actually works. Oh, it's for the same thing. Circular imports. Yeah, I guess this is one issue you don't have to deal when everything is in one file. Yeah, just having everything import everything doesn't really work, sadly. What would be a workaround? Helper not relying on singleton, I think could be a good thing. That's the cause of my troubles. None of these actually import the singleton. New bot menu, these might. Import singleton. So the singleton is the one importing too much stuff. Helper, I guess, is the only one. I think the issue is with the helper. Okay. Keep the menu here. So classifiers import menu. Oh, because it's defined as a type. Doesn't have to. Can I just break it here? Let's have it as an object. Let's start menu. This isn't even called anywhere. I don't think, at least. Because get start menu is just called directly from get start menu. Oh, it is called here. Yeah, which is useless. Because all it does, it takes returns menu, get start menu just calls menu get start menu. So instead of doing this, we'll just have and user will be database user. All of this method is not necessary. Get start menu. Right, let's start again. Now it cannot helper. So singleton. ports helper and helper ports singleton. So yeah, I still need to make helper not reliant on singleton. It's actually used in one function. Get label, and this is called in menu, I imagine. That all shift G. Yeah, translations. Okay. Right. Yeah, it didn't take into account the structure of imports at all. I'm just used to like in Java you can just import stuff freely. It won't try to go in circles. Or maybe it will in certain cases. Right. Get label from section. So if section is here, so section is the thing, singleton. Labels. So language. I guess all of this can be extracted into a variable and it will be fine. So let's have translations. And instead of singleton labels language will be provided here. Which parameter was that? Second to last? Yeah. Second to last. Oh, get translation. Okay. Language. Okay, let's do translations. Translations. Define it ourselves. And here get final translation name. Oh, so it just checks if it actually was found. Okay, if translation is none, okay. Translations get passed along in both cases. And as well as here. Right. Get error translations. Okay. So this is done. Translations. Finds the section. Language translations. Okay. And now singleton referenced anywhere. Save to delete these. Okay. And now whoever calls these get translations, it will be in the menu. Ah, but it imports menu as well, so it will be the same issue. Get start menu. how to solve this. Menu doesn't actually import singleton. I guess that's good. So who does in that case? Get buttons. Show. Show needs to know the translation. Wait, where is the translations? Translations are used. Translation get error translation. So there are two places. Control Shift G. Yeah, menu does. Wow, in quite a few places. Okay. Initialization. User. Context. Huh. Guess I can pass along it into the constructor itself. This will be a bit of a challenge. Git start menus and will require translations. Actually using the helper. Singleton use it. Get start menu. And well, I guess since it is a singleton, it does have all the translations. Right. Translations. I want to add too many variables. Okay, let's check. I'm pretty sure I will be okay with it. If I do this, then equals Tom config what is used to return instance. I think just default constructor is used. New. Wait, I do have an example, yeah. So yeah, singleton. So this is how I initiate. Okay. Oh, it shows that I have a viewer. Well, welcome. I am doing a little bit of refactoring, and now had an issue with imports. Trying to figure that out. So sing. I've assigned everything. Okay, let's. Stupid. Get more spacious. Right. User is already here. User is of type user. This. Actually, I think it will complain now. Okay, let's try running it. Yeah, it's now complaining about singleton in language menu. Maybe I actually got initialized? That's what it's saying? But maybe moving all of these methods was not the right choice. Hey, good morning, Risk. How are you doing? I myself, I'm not doing all that great with this change I'm trying to make. Starting to doubt that this was a good idea. Let's undo this. No singleton. Was deleted here also the comments. Okay, this is good. We probably want to get back. Handle button, no. All of this. Task, switch, restore. Okay, 90 lines. That's fine. Current menu is gone. What? Wait, what was current menu? Oh, so these are the lines that have been deleted. Okay, I don't want to just restore them. Okay. Let's restore everything little by little. A lot of stuff. All of this should really wanna. Okay. There should be one big edit where I delete a bunch of lines. So this is the one I wanted to undo. Okay. And now, like, this should have been a very simple change. Ended up being way more complicated than I wanted it to be. Oh, Risk, I didn't ask you, how's your internship going? Because I don't know pretty much anything about that. Okay, so all of this is not necessary, let's say. So I don't have this menu import, most importantly. Okay, let's see if this runs. It does run. So I guess moving is, I need to be really careful when I move code like this, willy-nilly. Doesn't really take kindly to that. My volume is quite low. Maybe the music volume is a little bit low. My voice should be fine. Well, I guess I'm a little bit low energy, because I didn't really sleep all that well. I think except for like 5 hours tops. So yeah, today there won't be any other stream. There won't be a follow-up stream, and probably tomorrow I won't be streaming. So it's gonna be like 2 days off. You have to do 100% volume on all speakers to hear you. Well, I'm basically hitting the yellow part on OBS. So if you look at OBS, when I'm talking, like, it's maxing out pretty much. If it gets into this territory, I would start peaking. So audio quality would be severely degraded. So to avoid that, I'll just well, I can't increase my volume anymore. That's that's the point. But what I wanted to check it actually works. Because I made a bunch of changes. Yeah, it doesn't work. Something doesn't get assigned. Insert ID. Get user data. It appears that it doesn't get assigned anything. And user ID. Interaction user. What? Doesn't really make much sense. So here, oh, something here, message author, message author. How can it be none? Oh, updated users list. Huh. Hey, Ski Blue 420. That's a good name. that's. I haven't seen you around before. Is this your first time being here? Or seeing my stream? I'm struggling a little bit with this. Like, it shouldn't be such a difficult change. Okay, let's do the debug thing, cause I just want it to work. It should be working pretty soon. I made too many changes too fast, and now I'm okay. So this looks good. Users, this is none. So somehow this. Oh, yeah. Now. Updated users list. So this actually has to be returned. Just assigned. Okay, that's a missing return statement. That would break. Yes, I was just exploring the software and game development category and found you interesting. Oh, thank you. Well, I don't think this part is all that interesting what I'm doing, because I'm just, well, I bitten off a little bit too much, and it's a bit hard to chew on at the moment. Also, actually, the first time I run it today. Database connection is not initialized. So yeah, it's a little bit rough at the moment, but yeah, it's gonna get better, don't worry. I will be actually, okay, required positional arguments. Okay, something is not aligning. Get translation. Oh, I updated that thing now. Ah. Sure what to do about that. What ID is this? This is Eclipse. Oh yeah, I guess you can't see the name. Yeah, so you should see the top Eclipse fork. So this is Eclipse IDE. It's just something I've used for ages, like decades at this point. Well, not multiple decades, but more than 10 years. Since ever I started. Well, I guess I've worked with Visual Studio a little bit, but in most workplaces we used Eclipse, and it just works fine, in my opinion. It doesn't look as neat and clean, well, unless you do this, and it looks kind of like Visual Studio Code, but I kind of prefer having a bunch of stuff visible, readily accessible, without having to do additional clicks. Even though, I guess everything, they are all kind of the same, so, you know. If you know one, like, you kind of can navigate the other. Yeah, you use Visual Studio. Do you use Visual Studio Code, or you use the full version? Because those are quite different things. They might look like similar and might share the full version. Oh, so you're a proper developer. That's cool. What are you working on? If you don't mind sharing. Because I've used both Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio. So is my assessment accurate that those are quite different, like in their capabilities? Because I imagine it is so. I only worked, well, I've tried Visual Studio Code recently, but I've worked with Visual Studio full version like 10 years ago or so, maybe 8 years ago. So it is quite, my experience is quite dated. I guess if I undo the changes I did here. So the translation part. Oh no, it's not in the translation, it's here in the helper. Let's see. Yeah, Visual Studio Code is lighter and has less features compared to the full version. Yeah, I imagine so, but I think the features it's missing are quite important for like professional developers. Like, it's not missing like some obscure features, it's missing like quite important features. Like, I'm not sure. Like, well. Okay, let's see if this actually runs now. It does run. So, okay, it was kind of... Okay, it's all good. Let's do this. And it almost runs. Text buttons, it was there. Yep, you can do pretty much everything on Visual Studio Code. Yeah, well, you know, that's what you expect from a proper IDE. Oh, actually, I have an interesting project. Maybe, well, if you find this somewhat interesting so far, there's actually like this part is not all that. I have like 2 series going, and the other one is a lot more interesting. This is just me reworking some old application I wrote on Discord. But I'm starting a new series where I will be trying to create new software, but it will be not just made by me. Like, it will be like a collaboration with viewers. So people who are interested in programming and want to practice or just want to gain some experience writing code, well, I figured I could start a project on, well, public project, like open source project, and yeah, that was the concept. And for now we settled on an idea of making a VPN client with some blockchain features. So basically an open VPN that is like peer-to-peer VPN of sorts, where you participate, well, for participating in the network, for servicing traffic through your VPN as well, for being an exit node for other people to use as a VPN node. You get rewarded with tokens. Well, that's the concept. Like, I'm just explaining the concept, nothing is implemented now, like it's an empty project so far, but I want to make it into a series. So I think that's a cool idea, where you get basically, so the idea is when you want to use the VPN, you have to pay tokens or cryptocurrency, whatever. That sounds cool. Yeah, I think it is a cool idea, and it doesn't sound, well, it shouldn't be like too complicated that it's impossible to implement. Like, it has a couple of moving parts, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward. So hopefully that's gonna go well. Let's see, what was argument type none is not iterable. Well, but it isn't iterative. Oh, in custom buttons. Oh, it doesn't have any buttons? What? So it doesn't find the input? So what? That's... Hey, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I won't be streaming. Well, also I have an issue with sleep. A sleep disorder of sorts. Insomnia, if you want to call it. and it is kind of, well, it's not that I can't get to sleep, like I fall asleep fine, but the issue is that I wake up really early and I can't fall asleep then. Like, for example, I went to bed like normal, maybe a little bit past midnight, but I woke up at before 6 a.m. and just couldn't fall asleep. Like I spent an hour with earplugs in my bed, just trying to fall asleep again. And yeah, then after an hour I just gave up, started, well, basically I gave up on trying to fall asleep and woken up and got up, which kinda sucks. So I kinda need to take a break for a couple of days, and then I will be back, and I should be back to normal. I'll do some practices to help me sleep that I'm not really comfortable sharing on stream. Let's see. The translation. How is this not custom buttons? Okay. I sleep at around 4 and have to wake up at 8. Lol, I can somewhat relate to it. Yeah, I used to, like, it's became a problem recently. Like, not recently, like 4 or 5 years ago. That's when I started seeing issues with my sleep. And like, I have no idea how to actually fix it. Because the dumbest thing is all the, like, the most common problems people have with sleep is about falling asleep. But yeah, like, but it definitely is a big problem, because if you do that multiple days in a row, if you sleep like 4 or 5 hours multiple days in a row, like, you're not functional. Like what you're doing is self-induced, which, you know, can't really blame. Like, there's nothing to blame but yourself. Well, no one to blame but yourself for that. But yeah, it's when it develops, I'm not sure, because I didn't have a habit of going to sleep very late before that, so I'm not really sure what caused it. What's the root cause? And like, behavior changes, I've tried all of that. Like, I spent years trying to figure out. The advice I got was to wake up early and go to sleep at 10 and wake up around 5. Well, yeah. Well, the waking up part, that's what... Maybe because you eat once a day? No, diet has nothing to do with it. Eating once a day is something I have been doing quite recent, well, comparatively recently. So it's not... Also, I've been eating once a day for such a long... Well, you know, I had sleep issues for like 4 or 5 years, and I've been eating once a day for a year, or maybe a little bit more. Eat once a day? Yeah, I do. You know, it's... Maybe well, when people talk about diet, like, I spent a significant amount of time researching diet. Well, but reading actual literature of about nutritional science, not just drinking a glass of milk helps with sleep. I can't drink milk. I don't like it. So there is a thing called kefir, I think. It's fermented milk. That one I can drink with turmeric, if you want to go extra, works like a charm. Yeah, well, but the problem is not that I'm... Well, helps... The things that people do usually help them fall asleep, because that's what they usually struggle with, and I'm not struggling with that. I'm struggling with waking up. I wake up too early, and sometimes it's because, well, my sleep is quite fragile as is. So if there's large noises, like loud noises that wake me up, then yeah, then it's obvious what makes me wake up. But sometimes for that reason I usually sleep with earplugs. at the moment, so I wouldn't hear anything. And even then, yeah, it's something something else is wrong. What about lights? Yeah, of course I keep them off. I can't imagine sleeping in a lit room. Like at some point, but yeah, it's not something I prefer. And I don't think it helps with sleep in any way. If anything, it distracts, because like your eyes kind of see the light. Same, can't sleep with lights. Yeah, I don't think it, well, you're not meant to sleep when it's daytime anyways, so your body kind of knows. Well, I guess depending on where you live, because here now the dark period of, well, nighttime lasts quite a long time. It's more than 12 hours. So when I wake up, it's dark, and when I go to bed, it's dark already. Well, because I live quite far north, so during winter, yeah, it's dark for quite a while. Have you checked if your diet is affecting your REM cycle? It's not that easy to monitor your REM cycle as is. Like, as when I had a watch that was monitoring my sleep patterns, I don't remember particularly looking into diet, but it doesn't have anything to do with diet. Like, dietary changes I made had no effect. As well as physical activity doesn't have any effect as well, which is very annoying. Because I enjoy exercising, I do it every day, and it sucks that it doesn't have any effect. It just it makes you more tired. Maybe get a color changing light that has some colors as sunlight, and maybe program it so it dims the light according to the time, so your body slowly adjusts to sleep. But you're talking about the things that help you fall asleep, which is not really an issue, because you need your body. Yes, what you're talking about is when your body senses that it's getting dark, then it slowly starts producing melatonin, which is a hormone signaling that it's time for your body to go to sleep. It's time to rest, and so on. So melatonin is the hormone that does that. So I tried drinking it as in pill form that you can buy in pharmacies, and it doesn't really, it makes you drowsy. It makes me drowsy. That's all. So I don't think it's an issue with hormones as well. Well, at least not with an hormone. It's I found a solution that works, and I'm kind of happy with it. So I'm currently sticking with it. The one thing I haven't tried fully is weight. Losing more weight, I think, might help, because I was a lot lighter. What's the solution? Well, it's in your name, let's put it that way. And it's illegal here, so that's why I don't want to talk about it. So yes, well, I got, after a couple of years of trial and error, trying different things, I got recommended it by someone. I tried it out and it worked. So sky blue pills, yeah. Yeah, so it kind of sucks that it is illegal here, because procuring it is a little bit complicated, but it works better than anything I can imagine. Like, if it's actually a condition, because, well, at this point it looks like it is. If I were to go and get a prescription for sleep medication, I imagine I would be drinking it every day and become addicted to it eventually. Where in Europe it's legal, it's Well, in Amsterdam it's legal. In Germany it's legal. Well, Germany it's if you can actually get prescribed for certain conditions. So it's not even legal to that point here in Lithuania. Lithuania, it's like, well, they are talking about legalizing it, but nothing is actually happening. But it works much better than any medication, sleep medication. It's legal in Canada. Well, yeah, Canada is not in Europe, but it is legal in Canada, in US, most of the US, at least. And they seem to be having issues with legalization, so that might be a hindrance getting legalized in other places, because the black market just moved into those what's the name, states. Yeah, in those states that legalized legalized it, got an influx of illegal producers. So they just grow it there and then illegally export it to other places. So they didn't solve the criminal aspect of it. But you might argue that it should be legal everywhere, then there wouldn't be any place to export to. That would solve it. So it would be, but how likely is that? Who knows? How about the quality? Does not legalizing affect the quality, or there is no change? I have no idea. Quality is bad, I imagine. The one you get, like, you don't know what you're getting when you're buying it from someone else. Like my brother had, well, he's much more prolific user than I was. Because I haven't even tried it before recently. Well, I got recommended it for this condition. I haven't even, well, maybe we tried it once. We thought we tried it, like, when we were teenagers, we tried something, but it had no effect. So, and no one even knew what it looked like. So I doubt it was actual real thing. But yeah, the quality seems to be bad, because from my brother, who actually started using it quite early in his life, and he was using for quite a long time. When he got tested for the military, he got drafted into the military, and when he was going through health screening process, they did a blood work on him for potential illegal substances, and they found a bunch. They found a lot of stuff. So it looks like the stuff is commonly laced with something else to make it more spicy. So that's definitely an issue. So yeah, quality is definitely, yeah, if you can buy it in pharmacy, like with actual prescription, like you can in Germany, for example, then yeah, the quality has to be checked and so on. Did you get paranoia? No, with paranoia is, you can get paranoid, yes, if you use too much, I'd say, but you need to have a tendency for that beforehand. So you need to be prone for it, for that to be triggered. And like the quantities for medical use, for my case, I don't need to use a lot of it. I just need a tiniest amount. Like the normal person, like a prolific user, would use in a day the same amount I use in a month. So 1 day's supply for a recreational user lasts me a month for using it for medical purposes. So I use substantially less than usual user, so I don't really experience all of these issues. He's experienced. Well, I I guess I am, but not to the extent where you some other people who use it for a long time. Like, you know, it's oh, few of the first times. Well, the first time I think is definitely a scary experience if you haven't done it before, because it is different. Like you feel different, and especially if, well, I was my first time uh, using it was with my brother, because I knew he was very experienced in it, and so on. So I assumed that he is my brother. We get along. Like, we're not like we don't have any ill feelings towards each other. So uh, we get along really well, and so I thought it was a good idea to have him guide me or help me with show me how it's done properly and so on. And his approach was just make a huge uh, cigarette, get some alcohol on top of it, and yeah. So the first time was very quite rough. That's not the way to go. If you're like, it's not something. I kind of agree with the thing. You shouldn't be using it if you're young, because it doesn't really benefit to alter your mess with your uh, neurotransmitters while your brain is developing. But when you get to an age where your brain is developed, then I think you can start. Like, it doesn't. I don't see it being all that harmful if you really want to experiment it. But you need to do it like moderately. Like, you should try like the smallest amount possible. You have a really cool brother? Maybe. Oh, he's a cool brother. Yeah, I kind of agree. I like him, so can't say anything bad about him. I wish he was more into programming, but he's actually working as a mechanic. So yeah, so he fixes trucks, tractors. Currently, I think he's just fixing normal cars. So he's a mechanic, not a programmer. So I wish we had more in common, but otherwise, yeah. Well, he was willing to help and so on, so that was cool of him. But the way he did, like, it was so he did it so carelessly. Like, the amount was way off. Like, you don't need that much. Like, if you're using it every day, like he is, well, he was, at least, because, well, he lived in a country. Well, he emigrated quite a while ago and lived in, I believe, Belgium for a long time, and it's a lot more accessible there. So he got to use, well, he used quite a lot and got majority of the experience. Or no, it was not Belgium, it was Holland. So he lived in Holland. Was it I mean, Belgium or Holland? So one of those two, I don't remember. So yeah, he got really used to it, and when he came back, after a while, that's when I wanted to try it to see if that would help with my sleep, and yeah, I was very surprised how much it helped, because you don't have to be using it constantly. You just use it once a week. Well, pretty much. That's and the amount is quite small. So, it's just the state I'm at the moment. I don't really want to go on medications for, well, sleeping pills, because those are quite addictive, and from what I've heard, they don't work all that well. Like, they definitely alter your ability to think. So, I'm not sure if this is actually a smart choice. It seems like a smart choice. I'm not sure which is more convenient. Maybe just getting a sleeping pills would be more convenient. Yeah. Well, whatever. Well, if you have any questions about that, sure I can answer them, but doctor every time. Well, I guess you become doctor with years, because you're the one who actually knows your body the best. You're the one who knows what you do with it, and you're the one who experiences the effects on it. So over time you just accumulate knowledge about what works for you and what doesn't. Like, you know. Also, well, I had a pretty severe head trauma when I was a kid, like at a very young age. Basically fell head down from quite high up onto a concrete floor. So that was quite bad. Sleeping pills are addicting. I have seen lots of cases nearby. Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's why I'm trying to avoid it. Like, even though the stuff I'm using is illegal, it's not addictive. Like, it definitely isn't. Like, well, the only thing that I've been addicted to was tobacco, because I was a prolific smoker quite long time ago. But I still remember I have like 6 years of smoking experience, let's say. I know how addiction looks like. It's not, well, it's not compared well, I imagine it's not comparable to like the strength. Well, I'm not sure how comparable it is, but I imagine addiction is addiction. Like it just, yeah. So if I'd say coffee would be more addictive than some of the stuff that's illegal. Yeah, so it's not really sure how much I should talk about it. But it's not really a secret, just not sure if it's a good idea. I should probably get back and check on this. Oh, it's not working. Text. Non-type is not iterable, so buttons. Okay, it doesn't have any buttons, but why is it checking for buttons? Text isn't buttons, so... Didn't I? Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, let's check if buttons are actually exist. If this is what's missing. So what I changed is the behavior, how the initial menu gets created. Is not none. And right, so and the text is matches one of the buttons. But what I think I changed the behavior in a way where it actually will, let's see, if I press 3, it will initially open the language menu right off the bat. Yeah, so that's what I changed. Right. So yeah, it tries to execute the option. Yeah, it opens the menu and does the thing. Guess I want to undo that as well. Or was it get user data? Was it here? No, this is completely new. Get start menu, so this is the point that was changed. So when I create the user, it initially doesn't have a menu. That's what has been changed. Last message. Right. As for me, I got addicted to anything that is taste. I used to finish up a bottle of digestive pills, which you were supposed to take 1 or 2 in a day in a day, in days. Same in the case of chocolates. Yeah, well, food is, food is something you're addicted in a sense that as a living organism, you kind of like it. You, it's like a proper addiction. Like if you don't eat, you die. So it's it goes through different pathways in your brain. Like it's very very deep in your lizard brain. You're programmed to want to eat, and when you find a source of food that's dense source of food, which, well, dense meaning it has lots of calories, you will naturally will want it. So everything that's, well, sugar is very so sugar is very simple carbohydrates, meaning it gets absorbed by your body very easily. It doesn't have to go through any pre-processing to actually be usable. So that's why sweet stuff is sweet for us. So for example, if someone, well, that just means if let's say, I'm not sure what is not able to use carbohydrates as a source of nutrition or source of energy. Let's say there's a bug or another type of animal that doesn't use carbohydrates as source of energy. Then if it tasted something that's sweet to us, or sugar, for example, it would taste nothing that is tasty. It would taste like cardboard, like nothing. Do you think there will be a time where people take 3 pills a day for hunger and only to nutrients? Well, that time is already here. Like Soylent is, is a thing, and people use it, and well, allegedly it's fine nutritionally, but eating has become such, well, it's such an integral part of our routine each day that when you take it away, like you replace it with just a smoothie, which Soylent basically is, well, it's a smoothie made out of all the nutrients your body actually needs, so you consume it, well, the proper amount of times a day, and your body gets everything it needs. And yeah, if you do that, it doesn't feel right. People don't feel happy about it, so they kind of want to go back and prefer the eating, normal eating, like tasting the texture of individual food items and so on. So it probably won't take off. Maybe with some people it will. I don't know. Not sure, maybe a couple of generations, when people priorities will change, because you need to remember that food abundance is not something very it's not something people have lived with for a long time, like in Western countries even. Well, the food abundance is not even a thing in certain areas. Like we have a food crisis now in Afghanistan. China is running out of food. So North Korea, like, people are starving in North Korea at the moment. Like, people are eating, like, cannibalism is a thing that's going on right now in North Korea. So there is still plenty of food scarcity, and it's not something we lived with for such a long time. That's why in USA we have so many, well, in Western countries in general, I would say, weight gain is obesity, let's say, is a new disease that hasn't been seen on such a scale ever. So it's a new thing. So maybe in a couple of generations, when people who are born into this environment and will grow up with abundant food, like I heard they're eating their own dogs in North Korea. I don't think they have dogs at this point. It's if you wanna know how a hell on earth looks like, yeah, you go research North Korea and what the situation there is now, and it's just I there's nothing good to say about it. Like, it's terrible, and hopefully that I don't even see how it will, as long as China is endorsing all of this, like sustaining the ruling class, well, providing whatever is needed to for the leaders of North Korea to maintain their power, then it won't change. Like, it's just sad. There's nothing much to say about it, nothing more, at least in my opinion. If you want to get educated, yeah, you should look like Yeomnya Park is actually something I can recommend. She is a defector from North Korea. That she escaped when she was like 13 or something. She basically was sold in China to be a sex slave, and after amount of years, when her father died and so on, that escaped with her, she managed to escape and she crossed the desert to another country where she got captured and then eventually got to South Korea. So her journey is quite tough. So she and if you want to know, she makes currently she's an activist for awareness what's happening in North Korea, so you can look her up on YouTube. She has quite a lot of content and she's still uploading it like weekly and so on. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and she provides like current updates on what's going on and so on. So, you know, if you wanna see how tough life could be, yeah. But you know, there isn't much we can do. It is sad. Like, being aware of it, I guess, is the most we can do. But otherwise, yeah. Right. Get back to the menu. When I handle input, so the issue I'm having now is that I immediately handle input, I need to check current menu. Right, when I handle input, if I didn't have a menu before this, let's see, content, call handler, this. Nuclear missile. Well, this is what North Korea leader like Kim Jong-un is, well, that's the thing that keeps him in power, I guess. I won't know. I'm not sure what's the end game, what's gonna happen in the end. China is falling apart at the moment, so I guess if North Korea falls and there's a revolution there, I guess that will be the first sign of China falling apart. The China will follow, well, Chinese Communist Party. Because you look at what's going on in China, like it's kind of scary. Like the measures they're taking to control the population are quite severe, and the propaganda is getting dumber and dumber. So I'm not sure how long people will keep yeah, people will get dissatisfied soon when they realize that there are less and less opportunities to keep to increase the standards of living, because that's the promise of the Communist Party, was that that kept them in power, they got them elected and accepted by the people, is that we will provide the way for you to make money, so you will be able to support yourself, your family, your relatives, and so on. And people, well, that's quite a good sell. So, you know, but now that's turning. So, politics. I don't want to go in too much into politics. Handle input. This is not what I want. And can Chinese say Twitch? Ooh, that's a good question. Maybe. Probably not. All social media is blocked. So I'm not sure if they care about Twitch, because Twitch is a different type of social social network. And they have their own homegrown versions, so they don't really have a need to go looking out on Twitch. I've definitely played with people, played games like Albion Online. Was a game we played with Chinese players, so they have exposure. Like, it's not that they are completely cut off from the rest of the world internet-wise. It's just they don't have access to places where people actually share news, opinions, and so on. So places like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, like these places are blocked in China, and they have their own homegrown versions run by Chinese government that they use for those platforms. Like they mirror the functionality from the rest of the world. But Twitch, I'm not sure. Well, they are cracking down on gaming. Like, gaming is becoming kind of illegal thing. So well, they're cracking down heavily on gaming. Like, game developers and gamers themselves, like, you can only play a certain amount of hours a week. I think that's the law they have, and yeah, it's odd. They really, the Chinese government really doesn't like gaming, so I imagine Twitch is mostly used for. I'm not sure how big game streaming is in China in general. Maybe it is. Who knows? I have no idea. That's the long and short. Right. So check config. Get user data. So this is the thing. Hot tub spools? What do you mean? Hot tub spools. I'm trying to remember what I said, what it could relate to, and I'm failing. Like, my sleep, like the lack of sleep is such a killer on memory and concentration in general. Which category trending in China? Wow. You know, I guess that's a thing. If it is. Which actually they have quite popular eating channels. Like, the government is cracking down. They are getting so popular that government is cracking down on them. So on people who stream eating food. well, usually they eat a lot of it. Usually it is an attractive person eating a lot of food, like Chinese food, and just interacting with people who watch the stream. And that's yeah, very well. So yeah, so basically the Chinese government doesn't like it. So yeah, they're trying to undermine them, and well, banning them and so on, issuing them fines. Yes, Hibuse made a video about it. Mukbang. Yeah, mukbang. Yeah. So that's a big thing. Another big thing is shopping streams. There are quite a few popular ones in China. I know, well, I'm aware of their existence. I don't know the channel specifically, because I don't really watch that type of content. I don't really watch streams at all, much at this point. The time I would spend watching streams, I stream myself instead. And yeah. But I know they definitely exist, the shopping streamers, where they advertise. They just have a lot of products that they show off on stream, and they usually have a discounted price that's usually less than you could buy if you went to the store. So if you bought it like through normal means, like you would pay a little bit more than you can get from these streams. So these are very popular in China as well. I'm not sure what was the news about them, but I imagine it's also another crackdown, because Chinese government is running out of money at the moment, and they are bleeding money quite heavily. So they're trying to extract as much money as possible from the rich, from their rich citizens. So everyone who made a fortune doing something, well, is currently is being exploited by the government to get more money out of them. So I guess that's what it is at the moment. We'll see where it leads to, because they have their slogan for common prosperity. So the idea is that some people got rich because of CCP's policies. So now it's time to take those rich people, take their money, and make everyone moderately rich. How does that make sense? I'm not sure, but it's their official policy or slogan at the moment, that they introduce all of these harsh policies targeting famous and successful people. Times are interesting. I'm just worried that Malaysia, I think, is the one country that's seems to be quite doing quite a lot of targeted damage towards China. So that might provoke some drastic response, I'm afraid. That's what I'm afraid of, because governments that like totalitarian governments that don't really that don't really listen to people, not that they don't listen, but because you can make argument about any government that it doesn't listen to the people, but the one that isn't accountable to the people. So any of those governments initially, if the times get tough enough, the answer usually is to start a war. So, you know, I'm afraid it's going that way, and eventually it might get to that point. And from what I heard, like, India is making quite a lot of major steps to modernize its military. I imagine it's because they see the same thing. They see the writing on the walls. Because from what I know, Indian military is structured in a unique way where each branch of the military is very isolated from each other. So what would be the land forces? So basically the land army, the Marines have no way to coordinate with air services, and the same goes with the Navy and so on. So these are completely separate things. Whatever happens, they not use nuclear weapons and people don't die. Wars should happen to free people in China and North Korea. Well, that will be the result. No one wants to start a war to say that we're gonna free Chinese people, because it's not up to someone else. No, it will be up to Chinese people to actually figure out what they want to do. And at this point it is quite a challenge, considering how long they've been brainwashed by the Communist Party. Yeah, so probably if the war will happen to defend Taiwan, I imagine. And China already said if Japan will interfere, which they said they will. The Chinese government said that they will use nuclear weapons against Japan. So, you know, it's not looking good. How did I get here? Debugging code and then eventually getting to nuclear war. Coding with every. Oh, yeah, not like this, exactly. Well, I don't think they will actually do it. You have to be completely insane to do that. But, you know, Xi Jinping is very much like Stalin. I find so many common things. Like, they're both uneducated, both barely speak the language, and both got into power through corruption and being seen as, like, they've always been pushed aside because they weren't like intellectuals or anything, so they didn't really pose any ideological threat. But they were useful because of their willingness to do things. So Stalin was useful for the communists in Russia because he was a criminal pretty much. He knew how to procure money. He would go and steal money from banks. He would rob trains and so on to procure funds for the Communist Party. And in China, like from what I know, I don't know that Xi Jinping does things like that, but he also was pushed aside because he wasn't like he's not an intellectual in any way, but he's very dedicated to the communist cause. So he sees like China as a middle kingdom that needs to rule everything, and it's an odd way. Like, people make fun of him because he barely speaks Chinese. He's natively Chinese, but like Stalin was Georgian and his Russian was very broken. Oh, whatever. I feel like I'm ranting too much, and it's almost lunchtime, and I haven't even fixed the issue I introduced today, which kind of tempts me to go back, roll back all the changes I did today, because this is definitely not the behavior I want. Let's see, because when I get the message, I want it to have initial message shouldn't be immediately handled. So call, right. So handle input. So any input it gets, it immediately tries to handle it. Let's see, text, if it's in menu items, get called get options. No, this gets called here, and before that, user context, get user data, right. And I think the issue I assign user, where is it? Oh, this is the one I'm looking for. Yeah, start menu gets assigned by default. I should make it none at first. None. So you would know that the initial menu, when it's empty, it's none. And then oh, so it starts create initial response. Oh, so this is the if the button gets pressed, okay. Right. I think it used to have a check if menu actually exists. What does it remove it from? Okay, checks for last message here. Dictionary get start menu. Also, if the user is not found in the users, no, this shouldn't cause this issue. Okay, user context. Okay, last message is none. Maybe that's what should be an indicator if I should call handle message or not. Okay, let's do it like this. Context. What will change? Change. Right. Okay. Cancel. Yeah, it does a thing. Seems like it does it twice. So it handles input. Oh. Well, I guess the previous message is existent. So what happens is cancel gets called, goes through here, handles input, which is the cancel button. So current menu gets assigned get buttons. Yeah, why does this happen twice? Why does this print an error? As if it's trying to do something again. It's a bit odd. user get the user data. So it should find the user and return it. It doesn't return the user? Yeah, let's look at the code here. I think menu handling, like if I select a language like this, it will be fine. Yeah, so if I enter it, it's fine. But if I select it with a button, oh, this is not fine. Always gives me a start menu. Oh no, so only this actually works. Oh, so it's none. Okay, that doesn't work. Handle user message. Oh, handle user message used to have all the stuff that's needed. Handle button 1. Where was it? I checked. Was it? Handle user message. I think this is good time to check the source control and see what was changed. Compare with previous revision. See what it used to be. So handle button 1 got deleted, that's fine. User context, handle user message, used to return the menu where it calls. Okay, so handle user message. So yeah, all of this has been removed. So current menu. So it just calls start menu. Yeah, so I'm not sure why I deleted that. Okay, let's have it back. Copy current change, yep. So let's have it back. Current context, and let's call this instead of making the decision by ourselves. Handle input, have handle user message, yes, context and text. So text is there and context, their context, like this. It's a little bit different. Instead of text, we have ID. Right. So I think I spent most of the stream debugging other issues. Context currently get buttons. Well, I created a bunch of issues for myself that I've spent most of the stream trying to figure them out. That's why you shouldn't do too many changes at once. Like it is quite easy to get ahead of yourself. If current menu, their context, I should probably define its type. User context. So current menu. It's none. And current context. Context, current menu. It's this. The context user. Otherwise, but this works for the first time. Okay, I guess we'll see if this changes the context. Get current menu. Current menu. I return current menu. Wait, this is the point where I realize I don't need a return. So I just call it, I don't assign it anymore because user context will be updated inside the method itself. So this assignment is unnecessary. Hopefully that's accurate. The context is none. Where do I initialize it? Get user data. Yeah, let's have it none by default. Okay. Doesn't look happy. It gets assigned if it calls handle input. Non-type. How does it end up being a non-type? Oh, not. It actually makes sense. Let's see, 3 doesn't work again. Why is that? Other message. So current menu is not none. Only handle input. Something wrong with the start menu. Doesn't have any buttons. Well, custom buttons at least. No, this should be fine. Yeah, okay, I definitely made too many changes. Okay. But the buttons work. Ooh, it doesn't, actually. Comp. Get buttons. So current menu actually doesn't get assigned, that's the issue. Maybe, well, I guess I have to do that. Why doesn't it get assigned? Okay, let's do it like this. Return. I'm too tired to figure out a better solution. This will never be called. Okay, let's not have it at all. So user context current menu sign like this. Right. Hopefully this helps. Hope is all I have. Get buttons. So current menu is none. None. Get user data. This might be messed up. So update users list might delete the user incorrectly. Data list users. Like this. Users. Well, this is the issue. Let's run it normally. Okay, if user context string object has no attribute time. So how is this a string? Users. A dictionary. Okay, let's run debug because this is making less and less sense. Discord user username, okay. Global users is an empty dictionary. So let's step into this. It is a dictionary. It creates a new one. Doesn't have anything to iterate over. So it returns an empty one. So user is not there. So it creates a new user instance. So I think this initial part works fine. So I get the response. Now, for some reason, get user data. Right. Now it throws an exception. Okay, let's run it. Try it again. Step inside users, the dictionary. Oh, dumb. Users. Yeah, let's use keys and then who is the key? Users key. Okay, that was a dumb mistake. Why is this? I made too many changes, way too many. None. So current menu is none. Well, I guess the user gets recreated incorrectly, okay. Let's see where that happens. Okay, the first one worked fine. Let's press a button and see. Get user data. Go inside pressing the wrong button. Get user data. Users. I have the user. So here I create a new one for each key. Oh, I think it expired. So I need only unexpired. Okay, so this is wrong. It should be fine now. Okay, it is fine. On the cancel. Okay, it works. Okay, finally works properly. Damn it. And I was supposed to implement a new menu today. Well, I guess I didn't. This was a waste of a stream. Well, at least I did some refactoring. A little bit. Well, they implemented user context. Oh. That's one thing I did. Right. Yeah, I guess this is not a thinking day. Well, I'll take a couple of days off to recover. When I start sleeping normally again, I will start streaming again. So it probably will be on Friday. And on Friday I will actually implement new menus. Because I don't... Okay, I could have... Yeah, this was too much of a task to actually move these methods out of the main class, main module. Hey, I remember the name. Right. Delete this. The lines can go. Yeah. So hopefully next time it will go better. Commit, let's see what... Okay, we made a few changes. Context, user context, text, data class, class implementation. It's still showing the changes, not like it. If. I guess me changing the history for quick difference. Quick diff. I guess that's the feature that actually marks the lines that have been modified. So I guess that messed it up. Okay. Well, whatever. It works. I'm happy with that. So yeah, now no streaming for a bit, and then I'll be back in Friday most likely. If not, on Saturday for sure. And then, yeah, I'll actually implement the new menus. I think... What is this? Oh yeah, this is the main class. New bot menu. Guess I can take a look what's actually here now. Bot menu. So this just creates a new instance. New bot menu options. Gets assigned to menu items. Ah, right. Yeah, I changed that quite significantly. The IDs are in classifiers. Start menu, so yeah, new bot menu will be this. I guess the items will have to have their own menu. Well, each entry will be leading to another menu. So I'll have new configuration bot, not new configuration, new kill bot, new battle bot. But hopefully it's smooth sailing from here now on. I said I said the same thing last time, but I guess I got too distracted on the stream to actually get to that point. And I just ended up redoing a bunch of stuff that should have been done the first time. Oh well. Right. Okay, well, I'm done. Time to go eat some lunch. And yeah.